Hello, just played loud stuff is here. We're gonna talk about February 2024 albums in this episode. And I'm here with my trusted co-host Vanessa here. And what's very cool that she has started her new YouTube channel called Let It We, and which I will have the link in the description. Um, I need the newest video, for example, is the Led Zeppelin tier list, which is very fun, always fun to talk about and hear about Led Zeppelin. Uh, yeah, so nice to have you always here,
Yes,
Venice.
thank you for having me here. Always good to be
Uh,
here.
yeah, yeah. Um, but uh, I guess we're gonna go straight into the main part of the show and talk about the top five albums we listened in February. So, Vanessa, what's your top five?
All right, so it's another not super exciting month, but I did find some things to like, but I think things are going to start kicking into gear soon. So now my number five is by Real Estate, and the album is called Daniel. It's a very nice and pleasant sounding indie pop album, consistently enjoyable. It's not likely to blow you away, but it is a good listen. Like it's got a few standout tracks, and overall, there's no real lows on it. Like it's just a nice, enjoyable time. Water Underground is a standout song on here for me. I think it's really catchy. And Victoria is another nice standout with some really nice pedal steel or steel guitar. Not sure which one, but there's definitely something there that's pleasing to my ear, so that stands out a little bit. So maybe not an album of huge highs, but there are no lulls or lows here either, so it's a solid 3.5 stars. My number four is by Granddaddy, and it's called Blue Wave. It's a beautiful sounding album. Again, not groundbreaking in any way, but another nice listen. It can be a bit samey after a while, though, especially if you were looking for some variety in tempos and like highs and lows as far as like, upbeat tracks and slower tracks. But even still, I really like a lot of it. The first bunch of songs are really good as far as I'm concerned. Like, I love Cabin in My Mind, which was a single before the album. And I think the songs up to and including Water Cooler are strong. However, the middle section of the album does lose me for a little while. It picks back up near the end with Nothing to Lose, but I think there is a bit of a dip as far as like connecting to the song. So that brings it down just a tiny bit, but I still think it's really good. There's lots of great pedal steel throughout the album and really nice melodies. Although I do understand why some people consider it too sleepy because it is, like I said, very kind of it's very much a mood album. You definitely need to want to be in that kind of zone. But it's another solid 3.5 stars. So now with number three, though, we're getting a little better. We have Basilisk by Jay Robbins. It's got lots of really catchy songs. It's got great punky energy with a pop sensibility, but without being pop punk. It's not pop punk, but it's got those elements there. But that is a good thing for me because I'm not big on pop punk. Reminds me a lot of Bob Mould's solo in many ways, vocally a lot and musically. There's some interesting slower songs here to kind of bring a nice change of pace, but it's just a really good rock album, which is always a nice thing to hear, especially these days. You don't hear that as often. And highlights on this album include Not the End, which is a pretty ballad, A Ray of Sunlight, which reminds me a bit of Bob Mould's post-Husker Du band Sugar, and Open Mind, which is almost a little shoegazy in some ways. Like it's interesting. So yeah, it's a 4-star album for me. Number two is by Tyler Ramsey, and it's called New Lost Ages. Really good singer-songwriter album from the former lead guitarist of Band of Horses. I really enjoy his voice and his songwriting. This album is really beautiful sounding. It's rich and shimmering. There's something about this album that I find cozy musically, but the lyrics are also very interesting and at times very thought-provoking. So it's one that has grown actually. I've listened to it a few times and I think I might go back to it quite a bit. So that's really nice. Um, there's one line that says, now I'm trying to be the phoenix in fires, and that really resonates. Like it's just kind of about resilience and everything. It's just a really good song. And there's just lots of great melodies to be found here. I find the first bunch of songs, especially the title track, especially song, and it actually might be a contender for top songs of the year at this point. So that's always really nice to find. So that's a very strong 4 stars for New Lost Stages. But my number one is kind of the buzz album of the month with a lot of people. It's Where We've Been, Where We Go From Here by Frico. It's a really strong debut record that has been making some waves in our community, but also elsewhere too, which doesn't happen too often. There's been a good amount of buzz for it. It's indie rock with a bit of an emo influence, but not in a way that can be off-putting if you're not into emo, which I'm not a big emo person, but I do like what they've done with it here. At times, vocally, it reminds me a bit of Bright Eyes, but I do think they're doing their own thing with it. Like, I think this album starts really strong with a killer opening track that immediately grabs you and draws you in. And from there, I think the album is full of some great songs that really grow on you after a few listens, especially. So the first time I heard it, I liked it a lot. But when I returned to it, there was like an immediate familiarity with all these songs. Like that's always nice because sometimes you go back to an album and you're like, oh, I don't really remember most of this. But this one, it was like, oh yeah, this song, this song. So that's always a good sign. So there's several highlights on the album, including Where We've Been, Crimson to Chrome, Statues, Get Numb to It. But I just think it's a really strong album of good songs. So again, it's a strong 4-star album.
Yeah, cool list. Unfortunately, we have zero in common, and um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How much did we have last time? Did we have any common in January? Do you
Um,
remember?
if we did, I think it was only one, but even then, I don't think we did.
I don't even remember all of my picks. I had the Ryan Adams and
Yeah, I didn't have any
Ac-
Ryan Adams.
Acacia. Oh, what was it then? Well, I don't remember at the moment.
Yeah, I
And
don't think we did. I don't think we did.
so we're keeping it the same way
But that's
this month,
cool.
which is yeah, it's verified. Lot lot with a lot of albums are released every Friday and so on. Um, yeah. Um, I think I have some albums that I had lower um this month than January, but I also have one above 4 star, so I have
Oh,
4.5 star.
nice.
Year two, starting number 5, which was I wasn't sure which to pick, but I went with Ducks Limited, I think, Harm's Way, and I do love a lot of jangle pop music. I always love when the guitars are jangly like in Rem or some other bands, and it does have the 80s vibe to this. I feel like it's a bit safe, and vocals are solid. I don't know, do I really love them, but definitely it's a fun short listen. It's like less than 30 minutes, and yeah, check it out. Number 4, it's I was like, are you gonna have this or not? I don't know. Did you But did you rate it or did you listen? I think you did listen to this, but it's the What Do We Do Now by Jay. I should have checked out this Mass Kiss. Is it
Yeah,
correct?
Jay Maskus, yeah.
Yeah, from Dinosaur Junior. And honestly, I don't know much Dinosaur Junior. I like some of the songs I've heard, but don't know any albums. But I just I started it randomly, and I was like, if the first song is good, I'm usually gonna might continue listening, and I did. And this was 3.5 for me. Like the last, I almost went to 4, but I feel like it's maybe a bit front loaded for me. Um, Even if it had some very cool guitar, as he usually does, and um, it's I was maybe surprised how much of it kind of, I don't know, is pop hook's a good word, but it was surprisingly catchy to me. I was maybe thinking it would be more like rock, even more rocking or some. I don't know. Um, maybe it's just a thing I think about when Dinosaur Jr. Maybe I'm thinking it's gonna be like this scary thing, but I don't know, to be honest. Um, um, then number three, uh, 4 stars for this one. Uh, well, it's me, so I'm gonna pick this older gentleman too, and it's Steve Hackett with Circus and the Night Whale. And yeah, I do love Mr. Hackett, one of my favorite guitar players, and um, I really like the. I don't know, was it previous? It probably wasn't previous, but one of the previous albums were Surrender of Silence, if I remember correctly, and I saw him live the same year, and he played a few songs from it, and it's epic. It has those big proggy moments that we all love, and it's like 45 minutes long, and has and he's still pretty much got it, at least guitar wise, and um, some of the uh, musicians he brings on are like excellent too, and I don't know what I feel like the problem with Hackett is sometimes the vocals aren't as good, and I do maybe feel a bit in here, but all the instrumentals are very cool. That's the main thing, and there's quite a bit of them too, and it's a nice concept album from Hackett. Number two is Prelude to Ecstasy by The Last Dinner Party. Uh, yeah, I went with this, released in early February. So it has this sort of indie rock. It does this glammy vibe too, and poppy, and yeah, it's just very very cool. It has quite a bit of energy too, and it has those lush moments too. Maybe even some baroque tunings to it, and I just love like songs like Burn Alive and On Your Side and Nothing Matters, and yeah, I don't have too much to say about this, but it's one of the coolest albums I listened to this month, but not as cool to me as my number one, which is, yeah, 4.5 stars. Great one. Uh, but it's a bit weird too. It's by artist called Grand Mahogany, and the album is called As Grande As, and I don't know. It's a Finnish born artist, but I think he's staying in like, I think UK or somewhere, and sings in English. And yeah, it doesn't sound really Finnish to me, but very well. I don't know. This is one of these albums you basically have to listen to it. It's very hard to explain, but it's basically just sort of funk, but it's also psychedelic, and it's just maybe reminded me a bit of some of songs in like Young Fathers last year, and it's kind of dreamy, but also kind of also showing his guitar chops, and just very cool album to me, and uh, yeah, it's not a catchy album, but it's just to me it has had the most wow factor. It's mine, and that's why it's my number one. And there were plenty of songs I put on my playlist, like Pop Your Head and Thunder Girls, Curls, and The Rhythm and Garden, Zephine, and such. Yeah, if you've not heard it, definitely check it out. But yeah, that's my top five of the month.
So I heard three of them. I heard Ducks Limited and J Mascis, which both
Hmm.
would be probably in my top 10 of the month. They're pretty close.
Yeah.
Um, and I heard The
There's
Last Dinner Party, but I
hmm.
didn't hear the other two.
Yeah, yeah. Well, next we have our dishonorable mention of the month and sort of the first album of the month, I guess, or what we listened to. But
Yeah.
what was your first album of the month?
Well, it might even be my worst of the year. I don't know. I guess if I'm lucky, it will be. So it is by Kim Petras, and it's called Slut Pop Miami. And yeah, I think that ultimately this is meant to be more of a statement than it is really meant to be an album, which does not help when you're listening to it. It's relentlessly vulgar to a comedic extent, which is the point, of course. But there's nothing that makes it worth hearing, really, unless you're just curious or you're memeing, which is kind of why I listen to it. But the music itself is very grating, not even remotely interesting dance pop house music, pretty devoid of any like hooks a lot of the time, aside from like the filthy, filthy lyrics, which kept me laughing because they were so absurd. But it was not an enjoyable listen. It demands you pay attention to the lyrics, and everything else is obviously secondary. Head Honcho is the only song that stood out as being an actual song. Like it was, everything else is just a soup. And the album is only 24 minutes long, but about halfway through, I was checking to see how much longer I had. So like when your album is that short and I'm at 12 minutes, like, oh my gosh, is this almost over? That's probably not a good sign. So 1 star for Slut Pop Miami.
Oh dear. Uh, I have to do a confession here. I didn't spend too much time on February editions, unfortunately, but so I was like, what I'm gonna pick this first of the month because there were some albums I started and actually didn't finish them. and and actually this album I didn't even completely finish this either. I gotta be honest. But I was like, I don't want to pick those that I had still a good score, but I felt like I don't want to do them to that. So I picked the same as you, Slap of Miami by Kim Petras. And I don't know why I even started this. I don't think I'm not sure how much I listened to this actually, but and it probably was kind of on, but oh dear, even the titles are like, oh no, why? I guess it's a big why question mark album, and it's just very tacky and plasticky and uh just makes me cringe more than like I don't mind like plasticky in a way, but if it's good, it's good. But no, it's not. I don't not sure is it even meant to be good in a way. It's just a sort of yeah, like you said, like a meme or sort of uh I don't know. I don't even want to say the titles. They're just Banana Boat is one of the titles, but even that might be even some sort of thing. I just don't get it. But uh yeah, uh not worth listening. And this is an EP length, but I just noticed that it's marked as an album in like in Radio Music, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, because the original Slut Pop from 2 years ago was an EP, but it was a bit
Hmm.
shorter. So I don't know. Maybe they seem to be
Oh yeah.
promoting it as an album
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
for whatever reason. I don't know why it matters, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess now we can forget about this
Yeah.
Slutbot Miami.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll be lucky if it's my worst of the year. But I don't know. There's still 10 months, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess I think we're gonna maybe do some sort of maybe when we're later, like in December, maybe some sort of best album list. And even if I didn't listen to, I missed some albums this month, I can always go back to this month. So it
Yeah,
won't be a problem if
for
I
sure.
didn't listen. Like I know like there's I started like what's the Chelsea Wolf album. I just
Hmm.
wasn't in the mood, so I didn't go back to it. I need to listen to that, for example. For
Yeah, I
the
didn't hear that
I don't think
either.
it's gonna be for the first of the month. I'm not saying that, but for
Hmm.
the just the random thought I wanted to say. Um, yeah, I always look forward to this next segment, which is the Billboard side of things. And yeah, we listened to the February top 10 songs in Hot 100 chart, and now we have to choose our favorite of the month. And what did Vanessa pick? I don't
This
know.
was incredibly hard because I don't really like any of it, really. So I went with I went with Luke Bryan and Casey Musgraves with I Remember Everything, which was also
Oh,
charting the previous month, but I did
yeah.
not pick it last month, so it's eligible for me.
Yep.
Um, Ultimately, it is at least a memorable song. At least it's a pleasant song. It's not grating in any way. Like I wouldn't probably choose to listen to it on my own because I'm not huge on Zach Bryan. I did hear his album last year and it didn't do a lot for me, but I didn't hate it either. So it's, if it came on the radio, I'd be like, yes, this is a welcome change from everything else, obviously, because we didn't have a lot of new additions this month from last month, but none of them appealed to me at all. And I considered Beyonce, but ultimately I just really don't like that song at all. So I couldn't in good faith pick that. So yeah, that Luke Bryan is the victor this month. Now next month, if our new additions are just as dismal, then I don't know, we'll really be in trouble, but I guess we'll find out.
Uh, uh, yeah. Um, so you went with my January pick was the Jack Bryan song you just mentioned, and well, I picked yours January song. So Cruel
Yeah.
Summer by Taylor Swift, and yeah, I just uh, well, the competition wasn't good, so I had to pick something. But
Yeah.
and well, honestly, almost picked this last month, so I'm not complaining. I think it's catchy and it sounds good, and
Yeah.
like in some ways, there's not a lot bad things that I could think of about the songs. But I don't know. It's something I listen on my own too often. Even if I can listen to some Taylor Swift, even on my own, sometimes put it on. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. At least it's catchy. But
Yes.
uh, I guess I just want to say a few things about the other songs that were charting. One of
Yeah.
the number ones for 1 week was the Megan Thee Stallion song, His, and I
Hmm.
absolutely hated it.
Oh,
Didn't like it at all. I don't know
fair
how was
enough.
your
Well, I like Megan the Stallion as I don't know, like I don't know that I necessarily love all her music, but I like her. Like there's something about her I like. I like her energy and I like what she's projecting. And there that song kind of had a reason to exist. She was kind of clapping back at some things that were going on. And I considered possibly that one, but the song itself, there was really not much to the actual song, like as a song. And it was kind of something,
Yeah.
it sounded like stuff she'd done before. So it didn't really stand out. It was more the lyrics that were the focus than anything else. So yeah, no, that's not the one that I hated, but yeah, I mean, I can see why it wouldn't work either because it's not,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like a flash in the pan. I think it was only on the top 10 one week. I think it was gone after that.
Yeah. At least it and the number one spot. I
Yeah.
think like what was the song that came back? Loving on Me, I think was again
Oh
number
yeah, that
one.
everybody's favorite,
uh, yeah.
apparently.
uh, I don't know. There's something about that his song. It starts with just her rapping, and it's sort of something like even the lyrics I just looked at. I was like, oh, this is definitely not for me.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know that it's necessarily for me either. I just there's something about her that I like as like a persona, I guess. Like I think she's kind of like a strong presence, and I think she's very
Mm,
skilled rapper. So like I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
I would that song did not make much of an impression as a song though. So I could not
yeah,
necessarily consider it a best of the month or anything. But no, the one I hated was the Kanye one. I have been trying to avoid that album and him in general for obvious reasons. So, but I did
yeah.
listen to it for this, and I was just like counting down the seconds for it to be over. It was just really grating to me, and I just really found it very
Yeah.
off-putting in many ways. So, and I think it was only like 3 minutes long, but it felt like it was about 8 minutes long, and I just really, really hated that. And then there was those
Mm.
two guys that sounded exactly the same, Noah Kahan and
Benson.
Bryce. Yeah, whatever his name was, I don't even remember. They were very so similar, very indie girl vocals with guys singing, like
Oh,
not enunciating
yeah,
words properly. I hate that stuff. Like it was just like
yeah,
so yeah, it was not
yeah,
a good crop, not a good crop of new songs. And then we had Flowers reemerge, which is like 80 years old, so not the freshest thing, you know. The
yeah,
flowers are dead.
yeah.
So
Um, yeah. I kind of like the Benson Boone song "Beautiful Things" because it at least it has the kind of rocking section too, kind of rises
yeah,
up,
I can see that. Yeah.
and well, it has actual electric guitar on it, and I like it. And well, Flowers is good. It's not one of my favorite songs even by Miley Cyrus,
Yeah.
but it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't really it's very listenable.
No.
And Beyonce, I don't hate it, but I don't. It's kind of boring to me, honestly.
Yeah. It's
And yeah,
I think the idea of it is something people like more than the actual song. And I think
yeah,
I think she could do country well. I really do. But I don't think that's it. I don't think she's doing what she could do. She could do so much
mm,
better than that song. It feels like an afterthought. Like it doesn't even feel like it's, I don't know. There's something about it
mm,
that everything about the country aspect of it just feels like it was just kind of pasted in and just kind of thrown together. And
mm,
yes, it's catchy, but it's not engaging. I don't know. It
mm,
just
yeah,
so
yeah,
because I like
yeah,
Beyonce. I'm not a Beyonce hater by any means.
mm,
But I
yeah,
just don't think that song is very good. That's all. Uh,
yeah. I didn't really care for the Kanye West song either. But I well, I kind of like maybe the production side of things, maybe, and well, but I don't know. But something that annoyed me a lot in that Megan Thee Stallion song. I don't really have anything against her. I don't really know her and her
Hmm.
well her music, to be honest. But I just knew from straight out that this was one of my least favorite gonna be, and I don't even remember that Noah song. It's some sort of acoustic song, I think,
Yeah,
or at least mostly.
it's just like placeholder music. What bothered me about the Noah and Noah Kahan and the Benson, was that his name? Um,
Yeah.
I didn't like their vocals more than the songs were pretty inoffensive, both of them. And I can see
Hmm.
what you're saying about there was some interesting instrumentation a bit on the Benson song. Like, yes, that
Hmm.
did stand out to me, but I just did not like the vocals on either of them. I just don't like that sort of slurry, not enunciating words, and I don't know. I just
Hmm.
didn't like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
plus the songs were boring as songs. They
Yeah.
were not, they were very,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, one thing I can say about his song, it's definitely not boring, and
No.
it's definitely she definitely have energy, but I don't know, the
Yeah.
lyrics just didn't do anything for me, and
Yeah.
found her voice a little annoying, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, we picked our picks this month, and I guess we can do it next month if if they're available. Uh, but yeah, that was February, and we want to see everyone's list down below. I want to thank Vanessa again for February, and yeah, thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye.